Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 3 Legend of the Dragon King Part 42 based on novel. So let's start. After a vigorous shake of his head, Tang Wulin realized how shocking his opponent was. They both had one ring. They both only had one ring. Yet, her combat prowess was so great. He couldn't let himself be shaken though. Taking a moment to compose himself, Tang Wulin waved his arms in flurry, sending blue-silver grass shooting toward the black cauldron. For now, he wanted to try binding his opponent's martial soul. Falling short of his expectations, the girl didn't mind her martial soul at all. Instead, she chose to accelerate her charge at Tang Wulin. She wants to fight me in close quarters? Tang Wulin sucked in a deep breath as a wave of golden scales covered his right arm. He stood there, as steady as a mountain. He could tell from their previous exchange that her attack possessed tremendous power. Other than attacking with her soul power, she also seemed to have other tricks up her sleeve. Since Tang Wulin couldn't beat her in speed, he chose to steady his person and meet her head-on. A subset of the blue-silver grass Tang Wulin had shot out split apart and returned to him, assembling protectively around his body. The girl's figure flickered again and then disappeared without a trace. This time, however, when she reappeared, she was everywhere around him. The only thing Tang Wulin could do to resist was to lash out with the few strands of blue-silver grass he had, trying to stop her. Suddenly, a phoenix's cry pierced the air. A flute had appeared in the girl's hands all of a sudden. The moment the harsh note attacked Tang Wulin's ears, he felt as if his entire world had slowed down, which was clear from the sluggishness of his blue-silver grass. In his sluggish state, the cauldron was easily able to escape the entrapment of the grass as it soared high into the sky before crashing into Tang Wulin. Bang! Tang Wulin was felt a jolt which was promptly followed by numbness. He had been sent flying with greater force than before. Meanwhile, the girl had pulled apart his blue-silver grass defense using her jade-like hands. His defenses having been broken, the girl reached Tang Wulin in a flash before moving to attack his stomach, this time using both hands. "I'm finished." Despite the intense threat he felt from the girl in that instant, only one thought occupied his mind. Twin martial souls. This girl has twin martial souls. And she can even use them both at the same time. She doesn't need to switch between them at all. The moment her white jade-like hands landed on his body, Tang Wulin trembled as a bizarre power rushed into him, washing away his numbness. Tang Wulin only had enough time to sweep his right arm out in front of him. Bang! A bone-breaking force met his right arm, leaving it in tatters. It rebounded back into his chest, pushing him back even further. This time, however, he didn't fly too far back. As he crashed into the cauldron which was right behind him, darkness filled his eyes. Drawing strength from who knows where, the girl continued to chase after Tang Wulin. She struck out with her right hand which possessed some sort of attractive force, sending Tang Wulin flying back towards her, while her left hand curled into a fist as she punched towards his chest. Although his right arm was in acute pain and Tang Wulin was being continuously beaten, this had actually roused his blood. He let out a deep roar as his right hand transformed into the golden dragon claw in a splendid burst of light. Meanwhile, he lashed out with a vine of blue-silver grass that gold light had slithered into. This strand of golden blue-silver grass was just like a spear as it pierced into the ground. Using all the strength his body could muster, Tang Wulin suddenly changed directions and barely evaded the girl's palm attack. Taking advantage of the attractive force of the girl's attack, he rushed toward her and soared over her head, taking this chance to grab her head with his golden dragon claw. This had been the first time since the start of the battle that he could launch a counterattack. Another note of a phoenix's cry rang out. Tang Wulin immediately froze in place while a wave of dizziness assaulted his senses. As the girl descended from the air, she pointed one finger at Tang Wulin, commanding the black cauldron to smash him. Tang Wulin forced his golden dragon claw to move, brazenly smacking it into the black cauldron. Bang! The black cauldron was smashed into pieces, completely falling apart. The girl's body was still swaying from the rebound when Tang Wulin descended. At that moment, Tang Wulin had figured her out. As he withdrew his golden dragon claw after smashing apart her cauldron, a strand of golden blue-silver grass shot out from the ground, propelling him forward and into the air like a bullet. Haven't 30 seconds passed yet? They should almost have. The girl stared at him blankly for a moment. She charged forward in pursuit once again, but when she arrived before the golden blue-silver grass, she hesitated for a moment. In reality, Tang Wulin wasn't in a good condition either. He was already running low on soul power after using his golden dragon claw and golden vine. The blue-silver grass propelled him further away from her. Meanwhile, the golden blue-silver grass vanished as gold light returned to him. He was currently maximizing his time airborne to open up the greatest distance he could between him and the girl. 30 seconds have passed. First trial over. The long-awaited voice appeared once more. He rolled when he landed to mitigate the force, then stood up and looked behind him. The second trial begins. Defeat your opponent or survive for another 30 seconds. Tang Wulin was speechless at the ball-breaking objective the electronic voice announced. Just before, he had been forced to use 2/3 of his soul power just to survive the short battle against her. Yet now, he had to survive another 30 seconds? Seemingly unaffected by the electronic voice, the girl charged toward him once more. This time, however, she only wielded the flute. What do I do? Run? I'm nowhere near as fast as her. My footwork can't compare with hers. I can't run. A battle of attrition? Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 3 Legend of the Dragon King Part 45 based on novel. So let's start. Tang Wulin's eyes were instantly drawn to the last category, battle armors. His interest was piqued. He had never seen one before. Wu Zhongkong diverted Tang Wulin's attention to the miscellaneous treasures category with a pointed finger. Following his finger, his gaze landed on the 3 intermediate entry cards listed, starting at 5 million federal coins each. At least it was better than having no entry cards. Furthermore, he had already contributed 3 million coins of his own. Still, Tang Wulin's heart ached. That money was saved to buy the spirit items needed to break the next seal. Hearing Wu Zhongkong's explanation of his naturally advancing spirit soul the other day, Tang Wulin inwardly knew that his situation wasn't natural at all. After all, his powerful physique was a consequence of absorbing the sealed Golden Dragon King soul. Ah. That's right. Wouldn't a big auction like this have the 4 spirit items I need for the next seal? Thinking of this, Tang Wulin shifted his gaze to the section containing spirit fruit. He was taken aback by the very first item. 1,000 year, those 2 words popped out at him. Even all the spirit fruits that followed were at the minimum of 1,000 years. This auction doesn't sell any spirit fruit at the 100-year level? It really is a high-class auction. He recalled the 4 items he needed, 2 of which were spirit fruit. Will they have it? Scanning the catalog once more, it didn't take long to find what he was looking for. His eyes shined upon reading the 6th line. 1,000-year dragon scale fruit. It's a 1,000-year dragon scale fruit. Isn't that one of the items I need? Tang Wulin trembled at the thought. Although he had a few years until he turned 15 and had to break the second seal, the necessary items were far too rare. He had already searched East Sea City's auction houses and even the East Sea Museum's auction in hopes of finding them, but had come out empty-handed. He couldn't enter the higher levels of the auctions, and the common level wouldn't sell anything at the 1,000-year level or higher. How could he not be thrilled by the sudden appearance of something he absolutely needed? But when he saw the price, his face began to twitch. The starting price was 2 million federal coins and the estimated sale price was between 3 million and 5 million. So expensive. It took half a year of hard work to earn 3 million, but this 1,000-year spirit fruit is going to cost 3 to 5 million. So expensive. Nonetheless, this was his first time coming across one of the necessary items. Compared to when he had needed the 100-year ice crystal fruit and scarlet flame, his mentality now was completely different. He was no longer skeptical, his belief cemented by the rapid growth he experienced after breaking the seal. He also wondered about old Tang's promised surprise that was waiting beyond the second seal. "Teacher Wu, I want to buy this." Tang Wulin pointed at the 1,000-year dragon scale fruit. Wu Zhongkong frowned, asking, "Why do you want it?" Tang Wulin lowered his head to think. A moment later, he answered, "Actually, Teacher Wu, I have a secret. When my bloodline awakened, I instinctively knew what my body needed. Sometimes I could even visualize them in my mind. Do you remember my growth after the hurricane? I had used 100-year ice crystal fruit and 100-year scarlet flame fruit to break through during the storm. Back then, I wasn't sure if I was just imagining things or not, but after testing things out, my strength really did grow exponentially. Now new spirit items have appeared in my mind, and the 1,000-year dragon scale fruit is one of them." Astonishment rippled through Wu Xiaokong's eyes. "So you're saying that your body is this strong because you ate those 200-year spirit fruits?" Amen. It only took a moment for Tang Wulin to determine the necessity of telling Wu Zhongkong. Of course, he couldn't reveal the sealed Golden Dragon King or Old Tang. Those were his greatest secrets, never to be divulged. But he knew he'd be with Wu Zhongkong for years to come and it'd be discovered sooner or later anyway, so he needed to give an abridged version of his situation at the very least. It was also imperative that he obtain the 1,000-year dragon scale fruit. He knew Wu Zhongkong wouldn't aid him without a good reason, and without his teacher's help, he wouldn't have enough money. Wu Zhongkong mulled over Tang Wulin's story, his icy eyes pensive. He can feel what items his body needs? What kind of ability is that? It's unprecedented. He would have scoffed at Tang Wulin a few years ago, but he was different now. He had been forced to acknowledge Gu's control over 6 elements, so he couldn't immediately reject the possible reality of Tang Wulin's strange body. He was once again reminded of Shrek Academy's motto, "Shrek Academy only accepts monsters, not ordinary people." Maybe my students really are monsters? All right, I will help you buy it. What else do you need? Wu Zhongkong's gaze bore into Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin shook his head after looking through the catalogue once more. There isn't anything else in the catalogue. The other 3 items I need are a 1,000-year azure vein vine, a 1,000-year land dragon tendon, and a 1,000-year sea dragon marrow. Tang Wulin could only force out an embarrassed smile. He only knew the names and nothing else, but it was clear that the 1,000-year land dragon tendon was the tendon from a 1,000-year land dragon. As for the other 2, he hadn't been able to find any records on them. The only reason he was still so relaxed was because there was still plenty of time left. "How will you benefit from these 4 items?" asked Wu Zhongkong. "Will your body transform again? Is there any danger?" Tang Wulin was at a loss. He himself didn't know how to answer because he was just as clueless. The pain from breaking the first seal had left him on the verge of death, but he didn't know if it would be the same for the second seal. But how could he tell Wu Zhongkong the truth? If he knew, Wu Zhongkong would never support his decision to break the seals. "My physique will improve and my bloodline will transform, and I'm certain the change will be for the better. I'm not sure how much my body will improve though." His words were both true and false. While it was true that his body would grow more powerful and his bloodline stronger by breaking of a seal, he skirted around the topic of danger. Wu Zhongkong nodded. Sea dragons are a type of deep-sea soul beasts and they've already vanished from the continent. Their marrow is mainly used for consolidating foundations by strengthening the qi and blood, and since it doesn't have any side effects, it's in high demand and extremely rare. You don't need to lose hope though. East Sea City is one of the largest coastal cities on the continent, so there's a chance we can find it there. As for the 1,000-year azure vein vine, I vaguely recall hearing in Shrek City that it's a plant-type soul beast that used to be abundant in the Great Star Doe Forest ages ago. The forest is dilapidated now, but if it's to be found anywhere, it will likely be in Shrek City. The 1,000-year land dragon tendon should be fairly easy to find in any large city, but it will be expensive. Just like the sea dragon marrow, it strengthens the body without any side effects, thus is another priceless and in-demand item. At Wu Zhongkong's words, Tang Wulin was delighted. He knew he wouldn't have to worry about finding the items needed to break the second seal in the future with Wu Zhongkong by his side. Thank you, Teacher Wu. I'll work hard to earn enough money to buy them all in a few years. Tang Wulin glowed with optimism. He saw hope now. According to the current estimated timeline, he still had 5 years to break the second seal, and when he did, he probably would not have to worry about the next seal until he turned 20. He was only 10 right now. He was certain that an opportunity to break the third seal would appear in those 10 years of peace. Wu Zhongkong responded with a slight nod and didn't continue the conversation. Although he certainly could help Tang Wulin find the items and it would be easier for Tang Wulin, he had no intentions of doing so. One would never truly cherish something if one didn't obtain it oneself. Only by relying on oneself could one walk forward steadily. This wasn't for the sake of cultivating one's strength, but for growing one's character. Though the items Tang Wulin spoke of were expensive, they were not impossible to obtain when considering the blacksmith rank he had achieved at such a young age. It was only a matter of time before he could buy them. Wu Zhongkong determined that it was best for Tang Wulin's growth if he worked for it himself. Honored guests, we will begin the auction shortly. A tender and melodious female voice resounded throughout the hall. The lights dimmed while the stage lights glowed, serving as a signal for a beautiful lady in a dark red dress to make her entrance onto the stage. She gave a slight bow to the seated guests. Several staff members that were each charged with an area of bidders appeared from the side to aid the auctioneer in controlling the bidders once the bidding started. The moment a bidder raised their sign, the staff member would point them out to the auctioneer, helping facilitate the proceedings. First, let me welcome all of our honored guests on behalf of the Heavendo Imperial Auction. Now for the first item, the lady didn't waste any words and cut straight to the point as she walked to the back of a gilded wooden table with a smile. A cart was pushed onto the stage while a screen at the back of the stage lit up. Our first item today is the very rare spirit fruit frozen grass. As everyone knows, the frozen grass is a top-tier ice attribute spirit fruits and will be of great assistance to any ice attribute soul master. We sacrificed much to acquire this 1000-year frozen grass, so I will tell you, our honored guests, that this is the best spirit fruit we are auctioning today. The cart was covered by a red cloth. Sitting on it was a jade-white box. Mist as cold as ice overflowed from its opening, enshrouding the light blue grass that was swaying gently within. A faint halo of purity surrounded the crystal-clear grass as if it was carved from a gem. So pretty. That was Tang Wulin's first thought upon seeing it. Wu Zhongkong's voice cut in from beside him. She's not wrong, the frozen grass really is the best spirit grass for those of the ice attribute. Tang Wulin turned to Wu Zhongkong and asked with a quiet tone of consideration, then is it of any use to you, Teacher Wu? Wu Zhongkong bluntly answered, it does, but not this particular one, it's too young. When the frozen grass reaches a certain age, its leaf will produce a point. Each point represents 15,000 years of its life. Do you remember the sculpture of the spirit pagoda's founder you saw in the Tang sect? You mean the spirit ice dolor, Hui Yu Hao? Tang Wulin asked. Wu Zhongkong nodded. Correct. One of his spirit souls was an 8 points frozen grass, meaning it was a 100,000-year level spirit grass with its own consciousness. It truly was a powerful plant-type soul beast, and the fact that it became the spirit ice dolor spirit soul shows that. Understanding dawned upon Tang Wulin. So it's like that. This spirit item is actually really ordinary. The starting price is 1 million federal coins, and each bid must exceed the previous by at least 100,000 federal coins. Let the bidding begin. A wave of signs flew up throughout the auction house the moment the bidding started. This was the auctioneer's goal and why they placed it first. Auction houses would always sell their best items within the first 3 to 5 shown. This way, they could set the most profitable mood of the auction. What the auctioneers wanted most was for the bidders to lose their rationality and make bids well over the market value of an item, thus selling the items for an exorbitantly high price and reap the profits. The price soon exceeded 3 million. While the starting price was low, anyone with a discerning eye could see just how valuable it was. It may not be worth much to a soul emperor like Wu Zhongkong, but it was a priceless treasure for 2 to 3 ringed soul masters that could increase their soul power by 2 ranks and improve the basic qualities of their martial soul. The allure of such potential was irresistible. The chaotic bidding soon quieted down when the price reached a level where only the bidders on the second floor had wallets deep enough to afford it. 5 million. A bidder on the second floor cried out a jaw-dropping bid. The 1,000-year frozen grass flickered with a blue light as though it was responding to the bidder. The silence was cut short, however, when another bidder on the second floor announced, 6 million. They immediately raised the price by 1 million. 6,500,000. The previous bidder called out, 7 million. The second bidder firmly stated. The smile on the female auctioneer's face grew wider and wider. 7 million exceeded the market value of the item, a mere 6 million. Although it was a rare species, it was simply too young, only having 1 point. If it had 2 points instead, the price would have truly been sky-high. 7,500,000. Tang Wulin couldn't see the bidder inside the box clearly, but then he remembered he had the purple demon eyes. He activated it and his eyes easily pierced through the darkness. The bidder in the 4th box was beginning to fume with anger, gnashing his teeth. 8 million. An unwilling voice called out from the 6th box. The 4th box finally ceded defeat. The price had clearly exceeded the true value of the 1,000-year frozen grass. 9 million. The 8th box dropped a number that left everyone speechless. 10 million. Yet, the bidder of the 6th box was more resolute. Silence filled the hall. This time, no one raised their sign to contend. 10 million going once. 10 million going twice. 3 times. Sold. The auctioneer slammed her hammer down. The first item of the auction, 1,000-year frozen grass, had been sold at the astounding price of 10 million. Tang Wulin made a somewhat unsightly expression. He hadn't expected that a 1,000-year spirit grass could sell for such a preposterous price. How much would the 1,000-year dragon scale fruit sell for then? If it reached a similar price, he definitely couldn't afford it. If all the 4 items he needed were this expensive, he feared he wouldn't have enough money by the time he turned 15 even if he poured all his efforts into completing forging tasks. Frozen grass is special. The only reason I can imagine they paid such a high price is that they wanted to continue raising it. This isn't a normal price, you don't need to worry. Wu Zhongkong whispered assurances into his ear. When Tang Wulin turned to look at Wu Zhongkong, he found Wu Zhongkong sitting upright and still with his usual icy expression. Is Teacher Wu really a cold person? Why does my heart feel so warm now? Sure enough, things proceeded according to Wu Zhongkong's words. The 1,000-year spirit fruits and spirit grass auctioned afterward sold for high prices, but nowhere near as high as the 1,000-year frozen grass. Tang Wulin let out a breath of relief. Next, our 4th item for today, a 1,000-year dragon scale fruit. Dragons are the most powerful soul beasts according to legends, and the dragon scale fruit thrives on soil that has been soaked in the blood of a dragon. Its name comes from the faint traces of dragon scales on it. We don't know whether the legend is true or not, but we are certain that it really does need to be watered with dragon's blood to grow, making it extremely difficult to nurture. From our examination, it is highly probable that this dragon scale fruit has absorbed the blood of a highly powerful dragon-type soul beast, and thus more potent than other fruits. As I'm sure everyone knows, dragon scale fruits are usually light blue in color, but this one is actually azure. This is why we have such a high evaluation of this fruit. Unfortunately, it was plucked too early and no longer has a chance of turning into a priceless purple 10,000-year dragon scale fruit. Let us begin the auction with a starting price of 1 million. The starting price is 1 million? Aside from the frozen grass, the previous items only had a starting price of a few 100,000. Why did it suddenly jump to 1 million? Tang Wulin's originally tranquil heart began to jump with anxiety again. Can I even win this bid? 1,100,000. A bidder made a bid. Tang Wulin clenched his fists. The auctioneer had said that this particular dragon scale fruit was special, stirring Tang Wulin's excitement. The stage screen showed the fruit that was presented with an oval shape and that still had branches attached to ensure the preservation of its energy. It shone with a breathtakingly azure color that was as crystalline as a gemstone. Yet, what was most remarkable was the faint pattern of jagged golden veins that ran along its surface, its reputed scaly appearance. Those scales bore a striking resemblance to the golden scales on Tang Wulin's right hand when he transforms. Tang Wulin was filled with longing just by taking a single look. It'll definitely help me break the second seal if I can get it. Your luck is pretty good. This dragon scale fruit isn't an ordinary one, the auctioneer hadn't exaggerated at all. Wu Zhongkong whispered into his ear, but all this did was leave him even more anxious. Wu Zhongkong wasn't the only one with a discerning eye, after all. 2 million. Wu Zhongkong calmly raised his sign, taking advantage of the current bid of 1,100,000 by raising it straight to 2 million. The hall quieted for a moment, but soon, another voice called out a bid. A few more bids later and the price already approached 3 million. With each bid, Tang Wulin grew more and more irritable. What are we going to do? 5 million. A voice boomed thunderously, so loud that Tang Wulin saw stars dance around him. 5 million? It's already at 5 million? The bidder had not only subdued Tang Wulin, but dominated the entire hall. It was the same bidder from the 6th box who had previously won the 1,000-year frozen grass. The beautiful auctioneer's brows jumped, not with excitement, but a frown. She had a bad feeling. This dragon scale fruit was valued at the same price as the frozen grass, roughly 6 million. The high sale price of the frozen grass was a pleasant surprise, but if the bidder from the 6th box threw out such a high bid once again, she feared no one would dare contend. Teacher Wu, what are we going to do? Tang Wulin anxiously asked. Wu Zhongkong looked him in the eye. Let's give up. Huh? But Tang Wulin was worried. He felt that this dragon scale fruit was particularly suitable for him and he just couldn't resign himself to give up on it. Teacher Wu, I want it. I need it. Can you lend me some money? I'll pay you back when we get back. Tang Wulin said in distress. Wu Zhongkong shook his head and before Tang Wulin could say anything else, Wu Zhongkong released a chilly air. A cold shiver ran down his spine, banishing Tang Wulin's panicked state. He didn't know how much a 1,000-year spirit fruit was worth, but since Wu Zhongkong decided to give it up, it was surely because the price had far exceeded its true value now. Tang Wulin possessed a far steadier temperament than his peers and it only took him several moments to accept his frustration and loss. He sat in silence, restraining himself. 5 million going once. 5 million going twice. 3 times. Sold. Tang Wulin quietly watched as an opportunity slipped away and as the auctioneer could only helplessly announce the sale. The auction house didn't harbor any resentment to the bidder, this was simply the nature of auctions. Not every item could be sold at the ideal price and when they averaged the frozen grass and the dragon scale fruit, the auction house still reaped a hefty profit from the 6th box. Disheartened, Tang Wulin had lost his interest in the auction. His head was filled with images of that 1,000-year dragon scale fruit. Each item was sold as quickly as it was put up, facilitating an unusually smooth auction. Wu Zhongkong had no problem winning the bids for 2 intermediate entry cards at a total price of 2,600,000 coins. Even then, Tang Wulin was numb to their success. The dragon scale fruit? My dragon scale fruit? Incessant laments echoed in his heart. We only have 3 items left for today, and they are actually 3 battle armor parts. It was only after much difficulty that we were able to acquire them. I believe our honored guests should all be familiar battle armor, which is usually only sold at the great seasonal auctions. Everyone should grab hold of this opportunity today. Battle armor? Tang Wulin's boyish spirit ignited at these words, his eyes shooting straight toward the stage. What does battle armor look like? I've never seen one before. Our first battle armor piece is a battle armor belt. I'm sure you're all aware that the belt acts as the energy core for a battle armor since it is the closest to the Dantian, where soul masters condense their soul power. Powerful soul masters will guide their soul power into the belt, then disperse it throughout the battle armor, which will give them the best results. This is a purple battle armor leveled belt, and it's entirely possible to build an entire set of battle armor centered around it. Please look at the screen. A metal belt appeared on the screen, its exquisitely crafted body shrouded by a shimmering purple light. Tang Wulin could tell with his experience in blacksmithing that it was made from no less than 3 metals, but its composition wasn't particularly complicated. It only took him a single glance to know it was made from 1,000 refined metal. However, it was different from ordinary 1,000 refined metals. Bizarre grain lines that shone with the purple light ran around the entire belt. This is battle armor? It's only a bit bigger than a normal belt. At the center of the belt was a circular, unusual metal. The purple light shined the brightest there, preventing Tang Wulin from evaluating the material properly. Metal is shaped according to a mecha or soul circuit design after it is forged, before being assembled and engraved. These are all part of a mecha craftsman's job. An excellent battle armor requires the designer and the craftsman to be of the same mind and level, another reason why having a secondary occupation is so helpful to growing one's strength. The most important reason, of course, is to increase the familiarity between one and their battle armor, and so that it's easier to find a suitable partner. Wu Zhongkong outlined the basic characteristics of battle armor for Tang Wulin. The most effective method of learning was to use situations such as this to teach. Battle armor, this is a battle armor. Excitement swept away the gloom in Tang Wulin's heart, his face shining with yearning now. I'll definitely be able to forge battle armor in the future. I may not know how to design mecha and soul circuits or engrave, but I still know how to forge metal. I can already 1,000 refine metals right now. That should be the foundation of making a battle armor. Wu Zhongkong lectured, battle armor is the second life of a soul master. A single excellent piece of battle armor can increase a soul master's strength by 30%. The biggest difference between battle armor and mecha lay in their compatibility. Battle armor is made according to the user and their martial soul. It's true that ordinary people can become mecha masters now, and that support-type soul masters can become quite formidable with a mecha, but the origin of true strength hasn't changed in the past 100,000 years. Only truly talented soul masters can become genuinely powerful entities. It is for this reason that real battle armor masters are unequivocally powerful soul masters. On its own, battle armor doesn't have any power, only serving to amplify a soul master's abilities. A 6-ring support-type soul master with a mecha is merely cannon fodder in front of a similarly ranked soul master with battle armor. That is the unbridgeable gap between the two. Understood? Yes? I understand. Tang Wulin answered with a heavy breath. He had long known the history of soul mecha. Soul masters were rather doubtful when they were first introduced, since it narrowed the distance between soul masters and ordinary people. It also reduced the significance of one's martial soul. Soul masters of similar ranks would be almost of equal strength regardless of their martial soul. It wasn't until the following era that soul masters finished developing battle armor, returning the world to how it had always been. The strong were always strong. Although Tang Wulin couldn't comprehend the level of power a soul master possessed when equipped with battle armor, Wu Zhongkong's reverence for battle armor was clear in his tone of voice. Considering how powerful teacher Wu is, he must have seen one before. The starting price is 2 million, and the minimum bid increase is 200,000. Let the bidding begin. The 3 pieces of battle armor each sold for sky-high prices, their combined bids easily surpassing 20 million. This was only natural since they were battle armor after all. Virtually all battle armor were custom-made for specific soul masters and rarely sold, so it was difficult to find a piece on the market. Furthermore, it was challenging to make them, each piece requiring 1,000 refined metal and a design specific to one's martial soul. For some markedly unique soul masters, their battle armor wouldn't sell even if they put it on the market. For these reasons, powerful soul masters devoted their time to create their own battle armor, and the situation was similar for divine rank mecha. Even 6-ring soul masters rarely had a battle armor to call their own, not simply because they lacked the strength but also from a financial deficit and plain bad luck. It was impossible to master every secondary occupation, and even if they did, they most definitely wouldn't have the energy required to develop as a soul master. In the end, they needed to rely on craftsmen to design, make and adjust the armor for them. Every set of battle armor was like an extension of the user's flesh and blood, their most valued treasure as well as a sign of power and wealth. Battle armor masters had long become the most prestigious existences on the continent, even one could outshine an entire mecha master regiment. To have even a chance of using battle armor, at least 4 soul rings were necessary. With such a requirement, it was no wonder that the great clans of the Dolor continent were able to maintain their positions throughout the ages, as they possessed both the finances to make battle armor and the soul masters to equip them. Tang Wulin still buzzed with excitement after leaving the Heavendo Imperial auction. If the dragon scale fruit appeared once, then it'll appear a second time. I don't have enough money right now anyway. Once I earn enough money, I'll definitely be able to get it. After setting his eyes on the battle armor, a burning desire had been ignited within Tang Wulin's heart, his mind filled with scenes of donning such armor on himself in the future. The domineering figure he conjured up made his blood boil as he wondered if battle armor masters were like the generals of olden times. Wait a moment. Wu Zhongkong called out to Tang Wulin, who was already making his way back to the inn. Tang Wulin paused, and without any explanation, Wu Zhongkong led him to stand on the side. The two quietly observed the other bidders coming out. Tang Wulin didn't ask for the reason why, his mind still preoccupied with fanciful thoughts about battle armor. With his adolescent temperament, this was all it took to sweep away his gloom over the loss of the dragon scale fruit. When a familiar figure entered his view, however, Tang Wulin's brows jumped in surprise. Isn't that Branch Master Zhao? The plump branch master exited the auction and headed straight for them. He handed a jade box to Wu Zhongkong and dully spoke, "Pay back the money to the company's account." "I'm going now." He rubbed Tang Wulin's head with a faint smile before walking away, leaving Tang Wulin baffled. The jade box in Wu Zhongkong's hands disappeared in a flash of light. "I'll help you sell the rebellion entry card later. It should fetch enough to cover the price of the 2 intermediate entry cards. You can pay me for the dragon scale fruit once we get back," Wu Zhongkong said in his usual cold tone. Tang Wulin was dazed. "Dragon scale fruit? What are you saying?" Understanding hit him suddenly. Remembering Branch Master Zhao's exit from the auction house, a possibility occurred to him. The mysterious bidder from the 6th box was actually Branch Master Zhao. So he was the one who won the bid. From this new perspective, he realized that 5 million federal coins wasn't actually that expensive. Teacher Wu was taking advantage of the intimidation from Branch Master Zhao's counterbid on the 1,000-year frozen grass to save me some money. Although Wu Zhongkong had clearly stated the debt, this was just what Tang Wulin wanted, to earn it through his own efforts without having to rely on other people. Only then would his conscience be clear. "Let's go back now." The master and disciple duo returned to the inn. Back in their room, Wu Zhongkong said to Tang Wulin, "Rest properly tonight. Tomorrow morning we're entering Heavendo City Spirit Ascension platform to upgrade your spirit soul. After that, we'll return to East Sea City." "Okay." Tang Wulin passed the night meditating and cultivated purple demon eyes at dawn. He was now practically bursting with energy. This trip had brought him generous returns. He obtained one of the 4 spirit items he needed and had an idea of where he could acquire the rest. Now he would enter the Spirit Ascension platform under Wu Zhongkong's guidance to ascend his spirit soul. It was almost guaranteed that he would return to East Sea City with a 1,000-year spirit soul. Now his rubbish little gold light would transform into a powerful 1,000-year little gold light. At this moment, Tang Wulin could finally tell himself, "I'm not a loser anymore, I have the potential to become a powerful soul master now." Wu Zhongkong had Tang Wulin pack early in the morning before checking out of their room and boarding a soul bus headed for the Spirit Ascension platform. Compared to East Sea City's, Heavendo City's Spirit Ascension platform was smaller in scale but brimming with heritage. The dazzling mural in the hall clearly depicted a tale that was far more complex than the one in East Sea City. Yet Tang Wulin was in no mood to appreciate it, still jumping with excitement. "I wonder what the intermediate Spirit Ascension platform will be like?" The cards were easy to use, After a simple registration, they were brought to a room resembling the one in East Sea City except smaller in size and with glass chambers instead of metal boxes. The staff member who guided them didn't question the master and disciple. It was quite normal for a clan to send a powerful adult to escort members of their younger generation and aid in upgrading their spirit soul to the limit, since a sturdy foundation was crucial. But while it wasn't difficult for large clans to obtain entry cards, only the most gifted children earned such an opportunity. Before entering the glass chambers, the two were required to strip down due to additional restrictions set before entering the intermediate level. Wu Zhongkong explained to Tang Wulin that it was a rule set by the Spirit Pagoda to prevent others from wearing battle armor into the Spirit Ascension platform. No one except the innermost members of the Spirit Pagoda knew the reason behind the regulation. It was impossible for someone entering the elementary level to possess battle armor, but the intermediate level was different, forcing strict inspections to enforce this rule. After finishing their preparations, metal rings fastened onto their bodies, holding them in place as the glass chamber's cover closed. Prepare to enter. A golden light radiated from the metal rings, spreading a numbness throughout Tang Wulin's body. In the next moment, his vision of the outside was replaced by a blank void. Only after some time did the dark space transform into a sea of green filled with a refreshing air that he knew all too well. Intermediate Spirit Ascension platform, here I come. This video will end here.